Paul's also assuming you don't have to record it.
Okay.
It'll record it on YouTube. That's the YouTube video. If you want to go look what it's like, you can just go on the faculty YouTube channel.
If I ever check, I'll just check on my iPhone.
Yeah, whatever.
Can we kindly please settle down? Yes, in my mind, I'm expecting some good music to actually start playing, but it's not. Good morning, guys. My name is Mlondi Pengu. I am a student within the Nelson Mandela University, and I will be your facilitator for the day. I smile, come on. We're here to network, we're here to grow and go further in our lives, right? Okay. Get a few formalities out of the way. Your bathrooms are right out on the second door on your right, the ladies and the gents and non-binary. Okay? Yes. Thank you so much. I do want to say this. I am a student within the Nelson Mandela University and I studied under this department. And it is honestly a pleasure to be the facilitator of this day. I hope you'll get from it in as much as I will as well, because I know I am a student within the department as well. So as you see our letters, we have IOP, ER, HR, and all these other disciplines that we're going to be talking and gaining more knowledge about them from now industry-wise, from a perspective of somebody who is already in the industry, giving it to somebody who is still a student or still aspiring to be within these different industries. Okay? Can I do something as an icebreaker? I want you to think about it. I want you to choose at least two people, a defining year in your life. We're here to network.
Yes.
Okay? As an icebreaker for these people to also know that who are they dealing with, who is here and who is not here. What kind of person are you? I won't start, but I want you to think about it. A defining year in your life where at a certain point you were really at a standstill, but after all, you just realize things are eventually coming together, because really things do come together. So for me, it's a year 2021 when I first came to PD. I'm leaving KZN. I have no idea of where I'm going. It's the first time leaving the province. And for the life of me, I was actually afraid. But I came here, and that 1 year was a roller coaster, but I grew so much. Eventually, at some point, I was introduced to content creation. I never thought in my life that I would actually do content, but I am here doing it. In terms of study and qualification-wise, I wouldn't say I am actively using my qualification in whatever content creation I'm doing, but it is how, you might ask. I create content, and in that content, I then have to analyze human behavior. And that is one thing I've learned in the department, how to analyze human behavior, whether physically or on social media. Kindly, as I run, can we have our phones on silent for the program to run smoothly? Thank you so much. But that year, 2021, for me was a defining year, in as much as, yes, I'm not using my qualification actively in it, but I am using it passively because it allows me to use my experience in analyzing human behavior. Whether I'm interacting with a person in person or I'm interacting with him on social media, I will understand something. So I'm going to use just a bit of here and there. I am going to try not to. When a person does interact with me, I know in terms of this is the wording that they will use. Probably this is the type of personality that they have, and I'm able to analyze that. Where did I learn that? From the course that I came here for. What I'm trying to say is that you might not use it as how initially you had come here to use it in the industry or be in corporate or be in academia, but you can still use it. The experience matters more than whatever else that you're thinking about. That's why we're here today, to network for those ventures and those avenues. Where to from here? You're done with your undergrad. You are now done with your postgrad. I pray you are.
Amen.
Don't come back here for another year. You come back for your master's or another honors major. Okay. So we're gonna have our first person who's gonna let us know of the defining year before we have our first speaker, Ms. Robin. Who is gonna volunteer before I pick a person? Before I pick, I went first. I have done the honors. Do you get what? Do you have a perspective of what I'm looking for from you before I pick? Just say yes, so I know I am not bringing anyone under the bus. Are we all know what we're talking about here? Okay. Okay, before we go into the second person, consent. Can we have consent of taking pictures and videos? We are going to create content after this. I am a content creator afterwards. Okay. Are we consent? Just give me a thumbs up. Thank you so much. Can we have one person who's going to be letting us know if they're defining it before we move on with our program?
Dr. Harry.
It's not happening. Caleb, kindly.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, please. Thank you so much. Give it up for Caleb.
I thought Robin was going to. Okay, I think the one defining year of my life would have been my matric year, where I had to decide between either rewriting my maths paper to get into my first choice of study or going down the industrial psych route. And then obviously I went down the industrial psych route and now I'm here.
And wasn't a bad decision after all.
I'm still trying to decide.
You try to decide your living is what I'm trying to say. Guys, at the end of the day, live. We are people trying to make it out of this life through socialization. Whether that socialization comes through with you being in an educational system or in an institution or being at home, you are socializing and life moves on. A day starts, the sun comes out and it goes out when the sun sets, right? Can we have the second person? Come on now.
So my defining year this year. I didn't want to do my honors this year. I wanted to go into the working industry. So I was accepted by UJ and NMU. I came back to NMU. And I think this year is a defining year because I don't have funding, but my tuition has been paid. I didn't know that I actually love working in academia. My lecturers gave me the opportunity to lecture at a full class. Also, I found myself a sister. She's over there. And they helped me.
Give it up. Is a networking session. Do you realize you've been networking for your whole undergraduate and postgraduate? Whether in class, outside of class with your lecturer, at the mall, at a rest, you've been networking. Whether that then goes into your professional field and you growing your career or not, you have been networking. That's why we're here today. These beautiful faces that are here as speakers, do that. Use that experience. How? Great. We're gonna have a good laugh. I think this is what, guys, I am coming out now. I think this is why I'm not gloating, but I've had a successful run in my content creation. I am able to network. I am a people's person. And to make it in each and every industry now, outside of our beautiful industry, industrial psychology, equality related matters, and HR, you need to learn the skill of networking. In my networking, over a first year online class, I was able to meet and network with Ms. Sivane. Ms. Sivane, please come forward. Ms. Sivane, I met her online. The connection was so strong, even on the internet. It was an online class, it was not in person. Today I get to call her my mother. She loves me like her own son. Whenever we meet, it is one of the most beautiful things. She's going to do our welcoming. Please give her a round of applause.
Thank you, Lord. I feel so special already. Welcome. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am shaking, so I'm going to hold on to this so I can keep my posture, Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. To the colleagues of the Department of Industrial and Organizational Psychology, our honorable guests, and the industrial and organizational psychology, labor relations, as well as human resource management students of the honors class of 2024. Welcome. Welcome to the very first annual career day for the honors class of 2024, hosted by the Department of Industrial Psychology in the School of Industrial Psychology and Human Resource Management. Can we get a round of applause? Students, I want to say to you guys, you have done it. You have started a trend, and we are so proud of you. This is a space that you have created, and you can look back years from now at this initiative as it grows and be thankful that you were a part of something so incredible for the next generation of IOPs, ER, and HR professionals. We met during your honors orientation on the 14th of February in this year, dressed in red and merry, as we welcomed you to this program. And I remember with each one of the academics that greeted and welcomed you so warmly into this program. The theme of the day was both congratulatory, but also sobering, in that we were very honest with you and we promised you that this journey would not be easy, that it would be an uphill journey, that it would be a journey filled with hurdles, but also moments to enjoy and reasons to be proud. We told you that you would have opportunities to form relationships. Thank you, Tumi, for confirming that. And also to learn more about your profession and identify where you want to see yourself in years to come. This here is a space that offers that opportunity. You have an opportunity to network with professionals that have already walked the path that you envision for yourself one day, professionals in whose steps you hope to follow. Sometime in July, two of your colleagues, Bitumelo Rapela, please stand, and Fikile Sekele, came to my office after having attended an event hosted by the law department in the law faculty. And they shared about what an empowering experience that was and how they learned so much, and felt that we needed to have a similar space for our postgraduate students. So I said to them, okay, if you want us to do this, then let's make it happen. So we pulled the team together. Please stand up, team. I would like everybody to see. Don't be shy, you're marketing yourself. Okay. Let everybody who was part of the organizing team please stand, with the exception of Mefro Ruat. We will honor her in her time. Because yes, she's definitely at the center of all of this, right? So we called the colleagues and then we planned this event, right? Because we wanted to create this kind of space, and we started planning this in August of this year. And in the midst of research and assessment and all the academic commitments that you also needed to fulfill, you still stood up and you said, we want this to come to pass and we will put time into it. I'm bringing this up to show you, colleagues, the importance of initiative, taking initiative, asking for what you want, and being willing to put in the work to see it come to fruition. I want to say well done to you for bringing us together for this important and worthy occasion. We approach. These are the ones that were standing were our honor students, but we also had our MC, Mr. Mlondi Ben, who's a senior student in the department, and he's also part of the team. We also have Mr. Konke Mbuli, who's also in the department helping us with media. Yes, I think, okay, I'm honoring everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome my esteemed colleagues. So I'm just going to call them by name. Please wave. Mrs. Kendra Ruat, fondly known as and referred to as the nucleus of our department. She gets things done, right? Yes. We all know her to get things done. Ms. Ruat, you can wave. She's very shy. I'm sorry to put you on the spot. To the director of the School of IOP and HR, our beloved Professor Amanda Werner. To our esteemed colleague and shrewd researcher, Dr. Tinashe Henry. Bright and vibrant colleague, Ms. Azande Zaza. The other colleagues were not able to make it, so I will say then, and last but not least, Mr. Caleb John Wood, who's also so fondly loved by our students. Very strict, but loved. And then last but definitely not least is the man whose shoes I definitely cannot fill. but in whose footsteps I relentlessly follow. The former head of department and former director of the School of HR and Industrial Psychology, our beloved Professor Prof. Ruth Hanuka. I want to say to all our colleagues, thank you colleagues for making time to attend this occasion despite being in the middle of urgent deadlines. And finally, to the professionals who have sacrificed their time to sow the seed of knowledge and to inspire our students today, we say thank you for coming and a very warm welcome to you. We welcome Mr. Asisipo Zamane. He's supposed to be joining us online. We're just having trouble connecting with him. But Mr. Asisipo Zamane is an alumni of Nelson Mandela University and a litigator at LabourNet. He opted to join us online because he also has an arbitration that he has to be a part of this morning. We hope he will maybe be able to join later on in the day, but we appreciate him in absentia. We also want to welcome Ms. Zenita Derain. Please wave. Who is an alumni of this university and a registered industrial and organizational psychologist at Whitehead. We say thank you, Zenita, for making time for us at such short notice. We appreciate you. We want to welcome Mr. Beki Maposa, who is an industrial psychologist and a talent management and assessment specialist at Transnet. Mr. Maposa, please wave. Mr. Maposa is not here alone. He's here with Ms. Zanele Msizi. Please wave, ma'am. Ms. Asemahle Makungo, Ms. Asanda Marks. I hope I got that right. Are they outside? Yeah, outside. Oh, and Ms. Kuli Lechazi, who are corporate affairs and people management interns. We appreciate them for making time to spend with us and to network with our students. And we thank you for bringing them so much. Thank you so much, sir. We also have in our midst the vibrant Ms. Robin Tufts that I just met this morning, but we just, connected, who is in learning and talent development at Volkswagen. Ms. Tufts is joined by Mr. Lloyd Radlin, who is also in learning and talent development. They are both from Volkswagen. Thank you so much, sir. You're welcome. Thank you for making time as well. We appreciate you. We welcome also in absentia, as she will be joining us later, Ms. Rashenda Kuber, who is an industrial psychologist with a specialization in talent management and organizational development. Ms. Kuber is also a former colleague of ours in the school, and during the planning of this event, together with the team, she made me appreciate the importance of networking or of having a network. Because thanks to her and Prof. Werner, we were able to secure our honorable speakers today. So this day is not in vain. You need a network. And I will confirm, can I use you as... Because Ms. Robin said to me this morning, I said to Rashenda, I will only go because I love you. So be lovable, guys. Get out there because you'll make things happen. So we appreciate Ms. Kuberg in absentia. She will join us soon. And finally, we welcome Ms. Tashrika Salim and Ms. Shanae Sias, who are interns in the Human Resource Department here at Nelson Mandela University. Can I ask them to wave if they're already here?
They are not yet.
Okay, not here yet. That's okay. They will also share their invaluable experiences with you during the networking session. Students, on your special day, I want to leave you with the words of Nelson Mandela. It always seems impossible until it is done. Okay, you're better. The colleagues whose career life stories you will hear about and be inspired by today were once where you are, and what a beautiful moment it is for us to have them here to impart knowledge with you, to help you to get to where they are and where you aspire to be. When you started at the beginning of the year, your journey seemed insurmountable. When you received your long timetables, dates for all the block lectures you'd need to attend. Each time you received an assignment and saw the deadline looming, it seemed impossible. But look at where you are now. In just 3 weeks, you will be starting with your final examinations. And soon we will be greatly anticipating seeing you walk across the stage as you graduate. What an incredible milestone. So much for you as you sit here to be proud of, and I hope you take it all in. The purpose of today is to give you an opportunity to envision yourself in the years to come, to determine where you want to be by engaging with these incredible professionals that are in this space this morning, asking pertinent questions concerning your career, but also listening to their career journeys and how they have gotten to the point where they are today. And hopefully you will walk out of here empowered, but also with a great appetite for your own future, to put in the work, to put yourself out there and to network some more. This is a networking opportunity for you, created by you. Today, we have been spoiled with a variety of talent. Make the most of this opportunity. Be present and enjoy yourself. One day we will invite you to the stage so that you can empower and inspire the next generation of professionals in IOP, ER, and HR. But in the meantime, I will echo Oom's words. We affectionately refer to Oom, to Professor Fanika as Oom. In the meantime, I say carpe diem. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome.
Another round of applause. Mr. Rania has said is the importance of learning. Where in as much as you've been learning, and it's been strenuous, trust me, I know. But even today, you're here to learn. Learn about industry, learn something that you didn't know yesterday. And I want you to take it and actually use it. In as much as it would come, it's obviously work, it's going to be intensive. It is a learning experience for you as a person at the end of the day, and you need the experience. I am now going to call Ms. Robin, who is going to come forward, who is from the Volkswagen Group in South Africa Leadership Academy for the past 11 years as an organizational and talent development consultant. I wish one day that I have this. Extensive automotive business and experience, and entered the learning and talent development space unconventionally. Having started her career as an internal auditor, this experience gave her a passion for helping leaders and their teams develop their personal leadership and business skills. Ms. Robin, I will not continue your very long bio. It's beautiful.
Morning, everyone. Thank you very much. I also hate those things, but you get told to make these things really beautiful. So firstly, thank you very much. It is an honor to actually come and chat with you guys. To me, the saying by Nelson Mandela, I've been living that the past couple of months. I'm also in the middle of doing a change management course, and I don't know why on earth I decided to do this thing, but I feel your pain. Okay, so good luck. Apparently, when it's done, it was actually fine. So yeah, as they read out, my career in this space is definitely different to most of yours. So I'm also a former alumna of NMU. Was different names in those days. I won't go back and tell you what's called. You'll guess how old I am. But my road to learning and talent development started a little bit differently. So I was an internal auditor for many years. That was my degree. And through that experience, I ended up making a change. And the experience in internal audit gave me a deep passion because of what had happened and transpired in that space. It gave me a passion for the responsibility that leaders have in terms of looking after their teams and the people on their teams. And often I think that responsibility is forgotten. At the same time, it's given me an understanding of business as well, which definitely helps. Having an understanding of strategy, facts, figures, business acumen, really also important skills to actually have in actually working in corporate. So that's a little bit about me. I've been at Volkswagen a very, very long time, and in this particular space I've been for 11 years. I love my job. Sometimes I hate it, sometimes you're ready to murder a lot of people, but essentially the impact that you're able to have on other people in terms of them seeing their potential and being able to be, wow, look at what I can do, is really, really awesome. Okay, so I'm going to just give you a little bit of a background as to just what VW looks like. So just some facts and figures around Volkswagen as a whole. So the VW Group, headquarters in Germany, in a little town called Wolfsburg. It's kind of like the industrial version of Utenay in Germany, and established just before the Second World War. There was a vision and a passion for creating a car and mobility for people that people could access, hence the people car, Volkswagen. There are a number of brands. You'll notice a lot of car manufacturing brands, VW commercial vehicles, the passenger cars that you see, the Vivo, the Polo, all of those cars, along with Seat and Skoda. We also have, as part of our brands, we also have the luxury cars in terms of Porsche and Audi, Lamborghini, Bentley, those type of things. Recently, Ducati as well, very exciting, coming to South Africa recently. And then there's also the other software and financial solutions that we also have in the stable. Some key figures. Really fascinating for me to have a look. 600. This has actually gone up since I last looked at it. 684,000 employees across the world. All right. There are 114 production facilities. Majority of those are sitting in Europe. But at the same time, there are now as well there's 10 sitting in America, Asia, along with us, right over here in Africa. 9.2 million deliveries by the group last year, and 320, I don't know what to do a zoomer here, but hopefully I get this correct, 322 billion euro, okay? I have no comprehension of that number, okay, but it was that was the group sales revenue in 2023, okay. So just a bit of a picture of what Volkswagen looks like. Moving over, these are all really important things, and you'll see why I'm getting there. The strategy of the group, our vision is really around mobility for generations to come, all right? Our strategy, and this is the overall group strategy, is New Auto, and you'll see there's a number of pillars that form part of that strategy, and this is all helping us to shift. The market or our environment, our operating environment that we work in is changing completely. Demands of customers are different. We're trying to move between EVs to ICE vehicles, industrial, whatever ICE, whatever industrial car, what's it? Internal combustion engines. I'm not in the production space. Thank you, Lloyd, my colleague. That's why you were here. So there's a lot of changes happening in the market. Future employees are also, their needs and demands are also changing. So we have the New Auto strategy, and you'll notice, I don't know why it was number 11, but people in transformation are part of that strategy. A key pillar of the strategy is our people. We will not be able to achieve this strategy if our people are not engaged, they don't have the right skills, mindsets to actually help achieve the strategy. So there's no point having beautiful strategies if your people don't connect to that strategy to actually help you achieve it. Underpinning everything we do, and these are our group overarching values, the overarching values that connects each one of our 684,000 employees are our group essentials. A very fancy name for our group values. And there's 7 of those, and they are really that basis for our culture at the Volkswagen Group. All of those, and I'm going to just give you a little bit more of this later, everything as well is aligned to our people profile, what we expect the behaviors of our people to look like. Okay, so those are our group values, underpinning how we do things around here. So in summary, our vision is mobility for generations to come. We have a strategy, New Auto. What do we want to achieve? We then have our values, how are we going to do it, those group essentials. And at the same time, each one of our local entities also has their own company values as well that is specific to that local entity. So now that we've got all of that, on the other side, our people and culture. We can't have any of those things if our people and culture don't have the right competencies and they're not living those values. So we need people who have the right skills, knowledge, keep their their skills up to date, continuous learning. And at the same time, people who are aligned in living those values and displaying the mindsets, behaviors, and attitudes of what we would want as a Volkswagen employee. Just check if I had anything else that I wanted to allude to. So coming back closer to home, so with that context in mind, VW Group Africa, our learning and talent development company, department or division, we need to ensure that we build those skills and values amongst our people. So that's kind of where we sit. So I specifically, at VW, we place a very high emphasis on the development of our people. We invest quite a lot in developing our people. We want agile thinkers, future fit employees with the right skills. Their skills are current. All of this is really designed around supporting our talent management processes to ensure we have the right people at the right time, especially in our leadership pipeline, in our leadership positions. As well as to support the entrepreneurial and the engagement of our people. So we focus heavily on investing in the future skills of both our technical skills of our people, and I'm not yet to, as you can see, I didn't even know what RCE, I couldn't remember what that meant, but we have those hard technical functional skills, and on the other side, it's those soft, which I hate the word soft, but it is the soft human skills, which are the difficult ones, which is kind of where we play. So that's kind of just a high level of learning and talent development. Coming closer to home, to my world, is the Leadership Academy. And we are very much focused on developing the leaders, as well as those aspiring to be leaders in our organization to contribute to the culture of our business. We are structured around two key pillars, all right? And the one side is the organizational development and the culture side. And the other side, which might be of interest to you, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that, is the assessment center. We are essentially looking after the human skills of almost 1,200 people. And that is from our top management positions, right down to our staff individual contributors. So it's quite a broad spectrum of people. So our assessment centers, all of these are really designed around assessing potential skills in terms of specialist skills, along with leadership potential. And all of those processes are completely aligned to our group company. On the other side, the side that I play in, for me, this is the more exciting side, is the development and the culture side. So around that, it's really structured solutions to develop the human skills of our business. We also offer different coaching initiatives, along with really reinforcing the values, the group essentials, our role model program. So that's kind of the environment where I play. So going into our Volkswagen people profile. So this describes all the behaviors of what our people at Volkswagen should be displaying. These are the behaviors. So we subscribe to this. At the moment, this is something really fresh. We are busy rolling this out. It's been rolled out at our group company. And this now we're in the process of rolling out locally. So what is the group people profile? The group people profile describes the behaviors, the attitudes, the mindsets of every single employee across the world in the Volkswagen Group. It is essentially 10 criteria, and or five pillars, it's like a leadership philosophy or people philosophy. And there are 10, how do I go down here? There are 10 individual behaviors along with that. It aims to really ensure that we prepare our people for the changes that are coming, that we are already in the midst, to ensure that they have the right mindsets, the right skills, behaviors, to be able to respond and support our strategy. So, as I said, the scope, it extends to every VW employee across the world. It creates a uniform benchmark. So wherever you go in the VW world, that would be the standard that you need to aspire to. So all of our assessment centers, our selection processes in terms of recruitment or for future leadership positions, along with our development offerings, is all aligned to this particular people profile. Essentially, this people profile is the human skills that we all need to actually be constantly developing. All right. So we also structure our learning in accordance with the learning and development model, 70-20-10 principle, and we try to provide opportunities for our employees to be able to structure their development according to this principle. So the bulk of their learning should actually be the on-the-job stuff. And we have, although it's not really under my portfolio, but work experience. There would be a lot around projects, pushing for projects, cross-functional teams, teamwork, overseas assignment, job rotation. So that's really where we encourage most of our learning to actually happen. On the other side, we also have the feedback and reflection, and we have a lot of opportunities for feedback and reflection in terms of performance reviews. We do employee engagement survey. We offer 360s. All of this is not falling under us. We also offer coaching opportunities in terms of reflecting with a coach, and we are also proceeding along with a lot of mentoring as well. We're trying to then train some of our managers, our supervisors to actually be mentors as well. So that's kind of a new process that we're trying to install. And then from the formal learning, we provide a lot of access to formal learning. We've got access to conferences. We do a management conference every 1 to 2 years. We also have different workshops that we buy in, and we offer that to our people. I'll tell you more later. And then we have the different business school programs that we also partner with, along with our structured talent and trainee programs as well, like our grad program. So just a little bit about what we offer. So I'm just going to go into a little bit more detail around the formal learning and development, what we offer. So we have a workshop program that we buy for our staff and our leaders, and it's an annual program that we offer. These are 1 to 2 day workshops. Generally, they're about 1 to 2 days in duration. We partner with external experts in their fields, and all of these would be aligned to that people profile that I was talking about. What's been really awesome with COVID, we were able to switch over to online. So we try and give a mix of face-to-face and online offerings. The online offerings are really convenient for our people, especially to save money. But we are finding that people are kind of they want to see each other. That's what we've noticed. So just to give you an idea of what we're offering, I mean, we've got leadership agility. So from change management to leading change, to thinking skills in terms of 6 thinking hats, values. It's quite a diverse pot. Okay, so that's really but the key focus there is really on their leadership, personal, and business skills. So that's an offering that we provide to our staff and leaders. We also have, we've partnered, unfortunately NMU doesn't have these, I'm sorry to say, but we do the online short learning courses through Get Smarter as well. There's some examples there. So it really gives our employees the opportunity to really continually grow their skills in terms of what is relevant to them. So enhance their current job through these studies. They're generally about 10 to 12 weeks. I know none of you will be interested in these at the moment. I'm busy with one of these at the moment. They are quite intense. So really great topics, but just a short 10 to 12 week course. We also have corporate subscriptions. We try to give access to leadership books. We've got a partnership with Knowledge Resources, which provides online books as well. So all of this is available to our people in terms of the formal learning and development. I just quickly just highlighted, jotted down a couple of other things here by providing financial assistance for further studies, also along with leave. That's another offering. We also have, like I mentioned, the management conference, opportunity for our leaders to review our strategy and the progress with that strategy. It's an opportunity for our leaders also to just listen to other industry experts, so not just a Volkswagen one-sided view, so different speakers from different other areas. We also assist quite a lot with career and personal development planning in terms of preparing for our succession planning, our workforce planning. Our aim is to have every single one of our employees with a structured development plan. To ensure that when an opportunity maybe arises, that they actually are ready for that opportunity. And then other stuff that we have to develop our leadership skills and contribute to our culture are ad hoc development programs in terms of, I've got one running next week on Women of Impact masterclasses. We have development planning, awareness sessions and how to do your development plan. And then we have our structured trainee programs, which are our grad program, experiential trainees. Our grad groups is generally kind of like you guys who have very limited work experience, and now it's an opportunity for them to really focus on getting on the job working experience. At the same time, we partner to give them those human skills as well, just to really, from presentation skills, et cetera, et cetera. And then we have different talent programs as well. Okay, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. So in reflection and feedback, like I said, there's quite a lot of opportunities that we do provide our organization. We do have different coaching solutions. We have an internal coaching program with myself and one of my other colleagues. We are registered and certified as coaches. That is very much provided on request, but we also have the opportunity for our people to have external coaching as well with different registered and accredited coaches. And then we also have to really contribute to the culture and team culture and to the climate in the team are different team coaching, team building type initiatives. And those are all really designed with the leader as to what outcomes do you want to achieve, correct matching with a particular provider to ensure that the outcome is actually met. Okay, so there's a scoping. What do you want to achieve so that we can ensure that we actually do meet that? Then other elements around reflection and feedback, like I mentioned, we have a group-wide employee engagement survey. This allows all 684,000 of our employees to participate. We measure on satisfaction indexes, what's the satisfaction with the organization, and each one of the leaders who has more than 5 people would receive a scorecard as to what the current mood is in their team. We also, like I mentioned, had the different assessment centers. They all are group accredited. We partner with registered industrial psychologists. And then other assessment tools that we also offer, for example, the 5 Lens assessment, Strength Finder, the CPPs, there's an EQI one that we do as part of one of our workshops. All of this really designed around reflection and getting to know who you are. Okay. Heads up, definitely spend a lot of time getting to know yourself and developing your emotional intelligence. I wish someone had told me that earlier in my career. So just a bit of personal advice. And then I'm not going to go into the on-the-job stuff because that's kind of really managed by the department concerned. But I just want to quickly go through our leadership pipeline. Before I get there, just on talent management and development, the two processes are obviously very interlinked. There's no point managing your talent and having an idea if they're not suitably developed and ready for those particular positions that you may be wanting them to aspire to. Our succession and talent management processes are really intense and very robust. A lot of robust discussions take place there, and really around the long, short, and medium term potential of who's going to be taking those potential candidates to fill certain positions. But importantly, tagged to that is individual career plans. These plans are really key to ensuring that each one of those timelines and identified positions are strongly linked to a plan to ensure that that person is potentially ready for that position when it is planned or maybe it arrives. So yeah, those two are really, I think, quite a big focus. I know Lloyd and his team do a lot around the succession and workforce planning stuff, and we are really there to also provide support to their team in terms of developing those people. All right. Our pipeline, we cover the entire pipeline of our leadership pipeline. There's 4 levels. Your leading self, which is really your individual contributors, and that could be your specialist or staff person. Then we have those who are, leading others, and that's kind of our first line supervisors. Then the leading leaders and the leading functions. So that our entire pipeline is covered, and at each one of those pipelines, each shift, there's significant changes that you need to be able to make in terms of your mindsets and behaviors. So from moving from being an individual contributor to now moving to now leading a team is a very different mindset and requirements that is going to be required of you. So we try to provide support, and we have different, our talent programs are structured according to this to provide additional support to these people to ensure that we manage those transitions. As I mentioned, we also have quite a detailed career and personal development plan, and this is something that we provide guidance to our people. I spend a lot of time having discussions with people as to what do they want to put in their development. At VW, our people tend to want to focus on just the formal stuff, but we try and balance it with that 70-20-10 principle to try and, there's no point doing only formal stuff and you never actually go and apply it and never get feedback on how you did. So we have our plan or our template that we provide to our employees as well to try and plan their careers. So that is in a nutshell. That is the Leadership Academy. So good luck with your exams. My advice, sometimes life takes different turns, and I never imagined that I'd be standing here, and having this conversation with you guys. So good luck with your studies, and thank you very much for the opportunity. All right.
Can you give her another round of applause? Now, one thing I am again learning, we get to learn. I'm going to say this consistently throughout the program. We are learning. Centered for every vision that we have in our careers, it's centered around human behavior. And we have had the opportunity of studying human behavior in its true essence. Do you realize that? Yes. Her presentation was a systematic things of how people in the human behavioral elements work together. That is one thing you're going to need when you go into the workplace. If you are maybe want to pursue remaining within the university system, it is going to require you to understand human behavior in order for you to work with someone else, right? Moving on, my lovies. We're going to have Caleb, who's going to help us with our raffle. It's going to be exciting. I do like formalities, but the raffle is just going to probably engage everyone as well. And we're here to network. I wanted to be here at the pinnacle of your head. We're here to network. I want you to network. Caleb, please come forward.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Can I sing? Why? We stand here. I am joking. Is going to be sorting out our program. I did note something down while Ms. Robin was speaking. Time investment and availability. it's very important for you to be available for your work, regardless what it is. Whether then it is centered around industrial psychology, human resource, or equality-related matters, your availability is very, very critical for you to even understand the whole element of your workspace and then do well in your workspace. Availability, just like how we're all available to be present for this day here, if you do go into the workspace, it will require you kindly. I love this, thank you so much. I know you're networking, but it will require you to be actually available, just like how we're available, how we chose to be available for this day. We're here to learn. You waking up every morning, then after, if you haven't started working, for work will actually just make you to get to the decision of being available for that work, because firstly, it's important for you financially, sharp, but it's work. And in a way, you're falling in love with it. Talking about falling in love with your work, is your 2 minutes over? Just one more thing. I speak a lot. Coming to the university, I never thought that I would be doing anything other than just studying here. I've come to realize that I'm doing so many other things. The list is endless. But one of the major things that I'm doing, I work within the transformation office. You didn't mention the word, but our transformation office really deals with students and staff-related matters. For an instance, if I have been violated, maybe sexually, the transformation office is a space where you can come and report the case. You are taken through a process of case registration and case logging in, mediation process. We have a gender-based violence counselor there that works there. I had never thought that I'd be working in a space such as that, but I am. How am I then bringing my knowledge that I've acquired from my degree? I'm able to understand human behavior. We deal with a lot of people that come with different circumstances. I've been raped, I have been molested, I have been abused in class with the lecture. Things do happen, but it has allowed me to exercise the knowledge that I've gained from the department. If you ever go into a department that is not necessarily IOPS related, HR related, or ER related, use the experience. The presentation that you give here right now, use the experience. Caleb.
So we have 2 raffle prizes for you guys today, and both were kindly sponsored by Transnet. So can we give them a round of applause? Okay, so in true modern university style, ChatGPT will be choosing the names. So your class list has been updated, and I'm going to ask for a random name. Okay, and the first name is A. Zamani.
He's not here.
Not yet.
He's the presenter that's supposed to be online. We are unfortunately going to be having him just a bit later.
ZN Plaikis.
Not here.
I can see it. I can see it.
Another name.
Another name.
Is also not here.
No.
We're gonna say another name so many
Is it the one name?
It's just the one name for now. Okay.
Okay, back to transparency. Okay, there's the next 2 names. Oh, neither of you guys here? You're disappointing, guys. Sure, you guys. Okay, well, here's another way I tried to do it. Okay, section 1 is you guys, row 7, seat 1. So that's you.
Row 7, 1, 2, 3, 7. Row 7.
Yes, but there's not rows, so.
Caleb tried, eh?
I tried.
But okay, you never know if it's your lucky day. It could be so. There are other prices if you want. Mhm. We do have our sponsors. We have Volkswagen here. We have Transnet and a whole lot of other people that are here and that would be willing. Please settle down. Caleb is going to be here, obviously doing the transparency thing. You'll do one thing. So we're going to move to the second speaker, Miss Zenita. I'm not going to say your surname because I'm going to butcher it. She has a Bachelor of Arts from the Rhodes University, a Bachelor of Honors in Stellenbosch University, a Master's in Research Psychology, University of South Africa, where she did her Master's program in Industrial Psychology, cum laude. Psychologist in industrial and organizational psychology and registered psychometrist with the Health Professions Council of South Africa. Don't we wish?
I'm working hard for the one side.
Okay. Hi, everybody. It's lovely to be here. I cannot believe I'm seeing some of you again for the first time in what, 4 years? And it's so wonderful. So thank you so much for the invitation. I really appreciate it. I'm actually humbled. I didn't feel like I should be here. But yes, well, let's just see. And my surname is Durhan.
Thank you. I was actually going to say that one.
I'm wondering how many, because I know we have quite a diverse group, how many of you are IOPs? Okay, so the group is cut up. I will be speaking more on that side of things, since that's what I know. So my journey, just a little bit, you've heard a little bit about it now, but yes, I started my career with the South African Police Services, psychometrist. And at that time, I was then doing my master's, my research master's through UNISA. It was a 1-year theoretical year. And then a internship, which I decided to not do. And then, yeah, the thesis, which took quite a while to do. And then I worked in the market research industry, and I think that gave quite a lot of me quite a lot of skills in terms of research, data analysis, understanding consumer behavior, and so on and so forth. So I did that for many, many years, and then I decided to go to private practice, and I went into medical legal work, and yeah, well, the rest is history, so to speak. I completed my master's degree, IOP, and I have primarily worked in the medical legal field for 10 to 12 years now. Maybe less, it sounds so much. It's a very niche industry, but also consulting across various sectors, and doing lots of work internationally, nationally, and so on. And so what I thought I'd do is provide you with a little bit of an example of what I do, because it is quite diverse. And yeah, so let's just get into it. Okay, so this is like one of the first things that I do, and this is research into women in leadership. Been involved in that with that since the inception year was 2004, and it was a project between the Business Women's Association of South Africa, Nedbank was the sponsor, and they collaborated with Catalyst, an organization in America. This started an annual Women in Leadership in South Africa research that was so important and grounding the framework for women in organizations and how to pivot them and ensure that they are better represented in corporates primarily. We also look at primarily JSE listed companies, also state and enterprises, national governments, and so on. So what my role in that was analyzing, doing the field work, analyzing the data, and drawing up the graphics for the publications. Did that year on year till 2012, 2015, completed the entire project from inception to output, creating the PowerPoints with obviously individuals who are good at graphics. Yes, we're probably going to be doing this next year again as well. So that's one of the ongoing projects that I've been involved in that's really been quite close to my heart, just in terms of ensuring that women become better represented. Then on the flip side, and I'm so glad I took any identifiers out of this. Didn't quite realize that there would be automotive industry individuals here. Anyway, moving on. This was a global study that spanned over quite a few years. It started in 2001. There were 4 phases to the project. We as consultants became involved with an organization called Incona that was driving this project. They found, so Incona is an organization that deals with the technical side of things, like, those names and all of that we can't really quite say, but they realized that there's really a problem here, that something's not adding up. And their client was saying that they cannot work with the automotive company. And that's where we entered into it, and we needed to assist them in figuring out what's going on. It took us 2 years. We had to run qualitative and quantitative research. So there's all this research that you guys are learning. Really, really it's important to understand all of that. Because we could identify various themes that they then could take from our findings. And it included the harder things like pricing, but it also was, trust, communication, the softer aspects of it. We ran interviews with the leaders of the organizations. It was really a massive study. There it is. We were able to pinpoint exactly, and I didn't include it because really it is quite confidential, but we were actually able to pinpoint where the problems were, the history that spanned over 10 years which we could graphically show them of where these problems were, and then coming to a point where we decided, okay, well, where do we go from here? I must say it was quite amazing to have these leaders, these industry leaders, actually listen to us and actually understand what we're trying to say, and that the softer things, the relationship between the two organizations was really going to crumble if they didn't try and fix it. So they realized that it had to be internally done because they kept blaming everyone else, but also being understanding and providing information to the others, to the other organization. So that was just one of the big studies that I've been involved in. And it comes along, and it's just it's amazing to see. Oh dear, obviously there. Okay. Another study that I have been involved in the last 2 years, a Saudi Arabian organization requested us to create a training program. So we had to then put on our different hats and figure out how to do this. We luckily we've got a good team, but also people who know certain aspects of projects. So the other one, we need statisticians. This one, we needed people who understood the recruitment industry. We were able to create and compile an entire training program for this organization that came with PowerPoints, roadmaps, even certificates. That once they completed, the employees completed the training, they would be provided with certificates. And we really taught them the recruitment cycle, basically. So that's one aspect of obviously what we do as IOPs. You learn about recruitment, but here it is, you actually sometimes have to train on it, and you have to understand all aspects of it. And if you don't, you have to then get into a book and learn quickly how to do things. Then the biggest aspect in that I'm involved in as an IOP is obviously as a expert witness for court cases. That's primarily what I do. All the other stuff is just a lovely, nice to have that I enjoy doing. But this is the bread and butter side of things. So I thought I would just spend a little time explaining. I don't know if you all understand what it is that an IOP does in terms of medical legal work. I don't know if our esteemed colleague has told them anything about it. Dr. Harry.
I was teaching methodology, such methodology.
So just in case you're wondering why there's so much banter here, Dr. Harry and I have worked together for many, many years. Since when? 2000 and yes, before you became a doctor.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I get seniority on him. So I work, I don't know if you know White and Industrial Psychologists. I've worked with them for many years. I now consult for them. And we provide the court with expert testimony on loss of income matters. We do that for individuals who have been in road accidents, who have had individuals pass away in road accidents. So that's loss of support cases. We do divorce cases and personal injury. So we will see the individual. We will consult with them. We will obtain all the medical expert reports, and that includes the primarily orthopedic surgeons, plastic surgeons, occupational therapist reports, and we will see what the individual can and cannot do because of the injuries that they sustained in the accident. We then compile a report based on their careers from the date of the accident until their retirement, as if they were not in the accident. Then we then do it because they were in the accident, the difference between the two, is calculated by an actuary for the loss of income claim. And that's basically what we do. This requires an individual to be really knowledgeable in a lot of areas. You don't know who your client's going to be, and sometimes the individual comes there and they are a cashier at a store, and then you have to understand, okay, cashier, what are their earnings? Are their earnings governed by a bargaining council or a sectoral determination? It's a sectoral determination, by the way. And we have national minimum wages that the government sets out and gazettes every year, and those individuals are generally paid on a certain level. But there's more than that. Then they get overtime, and then there's things that you have to take into consideration. So you need to understand every little career that comes along in your day-to-day work. Besides that, then we deal with other experts. The other day, Dr. Harry and I had to do a joint minute together. And that went well. we narrowly missed going to court. We both agreed we did not want to go. And so we conceded here and we conceded there, and we reached consensus on our joint minute. So that was great. Part of this also is that you have pre-trials with advocates and attorneys. I had one 2 days ago, and they kindly told me that I've got a court case on Monday. So, these things happen, and you have to be quick. You have to be able to be ready for it. They actually can fine you, or they can send you to prison if you don't actually comply. So, I'm saying all of this because I want you all to know, because a lot of people have heard that this is easy money. It's really a difficult industry, and they will really rake you over the coals, so to speak. And you need to know what you're talking about if you go stand up there. You're an expert for a reason. So make sure you know what you're talking about before you enter into this field. It's really humbling. And someone once said to us, you're only as good as your last good report, your last report. And if you have a bad one, your name's out there and it's thrown out there. And that brings me also to the point of ethics. I know you probably have heard it over and over. Yes? A lot. And someone said to me, which is the next point I'm going to go on now, I was speaking to a couple of colleagues to ask them what I should tell you about what you should know as honor students. And the one girl said to me, just please don't forget ethics. They're learning ethics, but they really need to know it's important. It really is something that you're going to have to know, and I think it's particularly because of this field as well. But you really, if you belong to the HPCSA, it stands for something, and you have to make it count, and you cannot, you stand for your peers and your profession as a whole, and that's very important. Okay, so fun fact that one of my interns sent me about the registered psychometrists. She sent that through to me, and so I thought, okay, let me quickly go and check. So in South Africa, our population is 63 million. Employed South Africans, 16.7 million. Registered psychologists, the stats might be a bit old because that's all I could find last night, but that's 16,000. And then registered psychometrists, 4,000. Oh, I lied. That I actually got off the HPCSA website. So that is correct. That's the numbers. And the registered IOPs, so out of all those registered psychologists, 16,000. Registered IOPs, 2,261. 13% of all psychologists are IOPs. We have 4 million registered companies in South Africa. I mean, your organization is doing a massively good job at what they do, but not all organizations are. And I think that is so important. We have got such an important role to fulfill in organizations, and it takes on different faces. It looks different in different organizations. But we must remember that we have got an important role to play, and you need to not look for jobs when you wander looking for jobs as a industrial psychologist, or what you must look for talent manager or consumer insights if you're into research. Different names. You have to really try and find the little niche places where you're going to look for work. Okay, so that was a fun track. Okay, so lessons and insights. I asked a couple of colleagues, and this was really on the fly now because, yeah, I didn't know this was going to happen. But, they were really kind enough to send me a couple of ideas, and so I put that all together, thematic analysis, if you will. And so yes, a couple of key insights. And I'm sure I made notes, but I'm not going to even look at those. It's just there. Okay. So the importance of practical exposure. Consider practical exposure early on. So I don't know how many of you have worked. Anyone? Okay. Yes. Okay. Everything counts. Everything counts. It really does. You know, just as a side note, when we were, when Timothy was still there, one of our receptionists, yeah, she became an industrial psychologist. So, and she managed to stay in that practice and get to that point. Why? Because she was learning about psychology. She was learning the intricacies of what we did, and she understood the admin side of it before she could get to the technical side. I think that's so important. You cannot get there before learning and just understanding and doing the, if you have to fetch a cup of tea for the person, then do so, you know, if that is what you have to do. So, okay, so that, I wanted to actually say something from here quickly. And this has been brought up by our MC, yeah, networking. Networking came up time and again, and it's so, so important to keep good relations. Don't leave a job on a bad note, and don't belong to a team group activity and not do it the way you're supposed to do it. Just keep good relations, network all the time, because you never know when you might need to call on that person. Very, very important. So that one's that. Then the next one, specialization over breadth. Find your path and focus on depth. This was particular to one person. Some of you will know her, but I won't say her name. But she went overseas and was struggling for about a year to find a job as an industrial psychologist with years and years of experience as a registered counselor, coach. She's really got it all, big, you know, the whole package. But she couldn't get a job in America. She really struggled, and she found that she was quite a generalist, and she hadn't really specialized in something. So she couldn't say, well, yeah, I definitely know how to do this. I can do that. So that for her was a point. But following on that is the point that I want to make, your skills. So the hard versus soft skills, which I know, yeah, we don't like to talk about the soft skills, but the hard skills will get you into a job. Find what you enjoy. First, look around, go and see who's doing what, and if you have to intern without pay, do so. Understand what you enjoy, but if you enjoy, for example, statistics, go into that and become really well versed in that. Something else was dashboards. Do clients not like dashboards? If you're doing a project, then they want to see progress and the percentages. Very important to have a certain skill. And that's something, as you can see there, you can learn. Now, the other things that you learn at varsity in psychology specifically are the more the nuanced things. So it'll be your ability to communicate well, your interpersonal interactions with other individuals. That will get you up the ladder in an organization. So that's the foot in the door. That's going to get you up. And don't ever forget that. Don't think that because you've got your degrees now, you deserve to be over here. Start here, because this is where you learn so much, and then build on that. Build on the networking and the relationships that you make with your peers. This one came up. See, it's a sore point. I asked 6 or 7 colleagues, and I think pretty much most of them mentioned this. A lot of them have tried repeatedly to get into a master's program and have not. And there I'm talking also about now clinical, because I work with a psychometrist who's in the clinical field or educational field. And so the important point I want to make here is that you must plan for it, have it as an outcome that you want to achieve. But if you don't achieve it, then what? And have a plan in place. You can change that plan and make it a 2-year plan, a 3-year plan, a 5-year plan as need be, depending on, and keep applying it as you would want to if you want to get into masters. But build on the skills that you need to eventually get there. Okay. I know it's really tough. The other point that they wanted me to tell you was just don't just think now about getting into the master's program. What's the next thing? IOPs, you have to do your internship. And that just doesn't come automatically. So you're networking again, keep your eyes open for opportunities, figure out which direction you want to go. You don't necessarily want to go into a medical legal organization, and that's all you're going to learn. So figure out where you want to be and make a plan. Draw it up if you have to. And I think this is the last one. Yes. Prepare for the real world expectations. I'm going to read this one. One reality check that came up with the pragmatic side of psychological work. In the workplace, IP services are often evaluated based on ROI, return on investment, not just the feel-good factors like wellness. Organizations want the measurable impact. How can you make a difference, but also provide ROI to an organization? It's a great mindset to adopt early, to know your work's practical bottom line. You need to also understand it. Maybe not completely, but you need to understand why that organization is there. They're there to make money. Okay, now what? Now we look at how we can make their money, but also make sure the culture and the people in the organization are happy. Yes, and I think that is it. In conclusion, several colleagues expressed that the journey to a career in psychology is unique for everyone. Yes, not all paths are linear. Some like mine do this. Some have to go a bit back. And that's also fine. As long as you keep moving forward at your own pace, don't compare yourself. to others, you have your own journeys. And you only have one journey, so you must please make it count. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we give her another good round of applause? I'm going to ask a question, okay? And we can use this again in our networking session, which is going to take place just a bit later. She mentioned something very important, developing a skill. You've been here for 4 years at least, right? In the institution as a student. Okay, maybe not, but you've been here for at least a year then. Whichever other institution that you were at, do you think there's a skill that you had learned? And by skill, I don't mean just a systematic technical skill, probably like being on IT every time. It could be a socialism skill that you've learned.
Yeah.
Can you say that you've learned a skill?
Yes.
Now, don't say it. I want you to notice in your mind, is it something that you are willing to grow into as a skill? Please do. Don't take it lightly.
Yes.
I will share something deep again. I speak a lot. Coming here into this university again, I knew that I wanted to study psychology, but industrial psychology, no. I studied industrial psychology, and I remember my first emceeing or facilitating gig, as we call it, was not paid. I was still working for Madiba's radio at that point, and I was called on the Friday at night to say, listen, Papa, you have an event that you have to facilitate tomorrow. Are you going to be okay with it? Because I already knew that it's a skill that I want to perfect. I was willing to. Willingness and availability. I was willing to come to that Saturday. First thing in the morning, I knew that I had to be there before anybody else gets there. I had to make sure the program is there. Everybody has a place to be at. Everybody knows what's happening. Facilitating means you have to have control over the whole thing that's going on in your skill. Make sure that you are empowered firstly, internally with you, and then you can perfect it, okay? Moving on, editing. I love editing today. 2 years back, if you showed me a video, my love, embarrassed. Okay? But guys, the central point I'm trying to get to is that in your own right as a student, in whatever that you're majoring in, there is a certain skill that you've probably come to realize in your life as a person. It might not be related to IOPS, IOP, ER, or HR, but it is related in some way or the other, and you can use it here. Recognize it, work on it. Moving on, we have our next speaker, Mr. Becky from Transnet. Please, can you give them a round of applause? Now, I am going to say just a brief on Mr. Becky. It's long. Again, these people have long briefs. And I want you to work for that long brief as well, okay? You have to work on that bio. It has to be long. Becky's primary objective is to leverage his psychological knowledge and skills to develop comprehensive and integrated human capital processes. He aims to facilitate development through diverse methodologies, ensuring individuals receive a holistic support and guidance for personal and professional advancements. By synthesizing his expertise in talent management, assessments in psychology, Becky aspires to foster a well-rounded and effective development journey for those he supports. He's here to support us today.
Yeah.
Recognize him, give him a round of applause. This is the type of music I was speaking about. We'll just enjoy the silence. Think of that skill.
Hey, good morning.
they say talk about your journey, then I think the one thing that I heard from the previous speakers is about like a person develops, right? And then you evolve. So maybe a little bit about where I started or my journey up until I'm here today. So I started as a train assistant many months ago. Then as I was there, then I was a train driver, right? So I started taking interest in human behavior, but then I actually studied accounting science. But I got bored. Like, that was not for me. I think I dropped out in my third year. It's not like I was failing the course, I was passing the course, but I was like, no, I cannot do it. So then I was a train driver. So what I noticed then when I was a train driver, you know, I was speaking to someone here, just about okay, yeah, to say sometimes you get afforded an opportunity, right? We all have goals, and then you get afforded an opportunity. But with your goals, sometimes just life happens. Then you start looking for a job, right? Then you get a job, but you still have that one goal in your head, right? To say, actually, this is where I wanted to be, but I found myself here with whatever that I have in front of me. Then when you get that opportunity, what do you do with it? Do you get comfortable here, or do you, when you get to that space, do you still work towards that goal? So then I think that's why I started taking interest in talent management within workspace, because you find a person who come in, they start complaining, but you ask them, what is it that you're doing for yourself? You are here, everything is available for you, but what is it that you're taking and doing for yourself? Because all these programs, nice programs that we have, that we do, but very much sure, but there are some people that right? So then I started my industrial psychology degree whilst I was working up until I got to my master's. It was crazy, I know it was not easy, but yeah, it was later in years or in life. So I worked for Transnet. So maybe a little bit background about Transnet. Transnet is an organization, it's an SOE, right? State-owned company. However, we have different operating divisions. We have Transnet Group that is based in Joburg. That's where we build all the frameworks that guides the different operating divisions within Transnet. Then we have Transnet Freight Rail, which is our biggest, most of our, maybe the large headcount, we have about 27,000 employees within Freight Rail. So the Freight Rail, that your trains, right? So from the mines to the ports, right? Then we have Transnet Engineering. It's also based in the head office in Pretoria. So that's where you found most of your engineers specializing in different categories of engineering. Then we have, that's our second largest operating division. And we have Transnet Port Terminals. That's our third largest operations. And then we have Transnet National Ports Authority. Then we also have Transnet Corporate Center, Transnet Academy, Transnet Properties, and Transnet Pipelines. Those are the ones with your renewable energies and all those things. So that's Transnet in a nutshell. But however, I work for Transnet National Ports Authority. Okay, within the talent management space in Transnet National Port Authority, we do talent management and assessment. So guys, talent management for us, it starts from your talent acquisition, to bring in someone, you know, the onboarding, this is what the organization is about, this is what the OT is about. Then from there, after the onboarding, obviously, then you start now trying to find your fit as an individual, right? Then you try to find what you like, what you can do, because now this is what's available in front of you. So it means for us, what we do is just to go that journey with you to see, okay, this is you, and this is what we can offer. So within that space, we have various projects, right? We build the frameworks, the policies for people development, people management. Then we do the leadership frameworks, because before you get to a point where we say this is what we want, we have to have some sort of a framework or a guideline. You know, we do the competency profiling,
we do critical workforce planning. So what is critical workforce planning? We need to be able to assist the business to plan in future to say, in the next 5 years, this is the skill that is going to be so scarce. So what do we do now to keep that skill so that we are able to retain the skill itself? So we do that as well. So it's about research, analytics, and also doing the actual work itself as well. So again, what else do we do? Okay, that you. So again, we're also accountable for those management strategic projects, and then we also do employee branding, the value proposition programs and so forth. So again, we also do your career management, right? So within our talent management space, we call it integrated talent management. So this is how it goes. You have your talent acquisition space. You have us who manages the entire talent in terms of the value proposition. You have your learning and development. And then with the learning and development, they partner again with the assessment center. Recently we have been accredited to now start hosting interns for industrial psychologists and psychometrists. So, so if you decide after your honors to go the psychometry route, if you don't want to do your internship here at Nelson Mandela, you can us. And then you do your IOP, your masters, and if you want to do your internship, we will be able to host you, but depending if you meet the set criteria. So you think about it. So yeah, so that's what we do. So we also, some of us there are also certified coaches. So we help with, career development. As you work again, sometimes you tend to lose interest or you want to enhance your skill as well within the workspace. So we do that career counseling and so forth. We also do the psychometric assessments. So yeah, so what we do when we build a leadership framework, obviously we have different we can call it grade levels, right? So that we know what is it that we actually want when you start. Let's say if you talk about the leading self as so this is what we'll be measuring when we take you in when using our assessment. So the leading self, normally we do that from people that are normally your first line supervisors and someone who just gets into the workspace, or we call them blue collar workers, right? So this will be the competencies that we measure. And then we'll have leading others, which will be now when you start becoming a manager or a middle manager. So those are the kind of things that we measure. And then what informs us, I won't dwell much on this. So we normally have 6 competencies, right? So which will be your strategy and sustainability. But when we do the framework, we need to be able to break it down to speak to all the different types of level. And to say, obviously, the strategic thinking or sustainability won't be the same for a CEO with someone who's just starting in the business, but what is it that we want to see when we see you grow? So guys, we did this. So it means like when you learn, whatever that you learn here, and then when you get to the business world, you'll be able to actually build this type of frameworks as well. So then from the leadership framework, then we have the constructs that we measure depending on those different categories. Now, this is where the psychometric assessments come in, right? From the leadership framework, then we have this. So obviously for management assessments. So the bargaining unit employee, we say we use the ability test, right? I don't know if you've done ability tests before. Or maybe you'll do that when you apply for your master's. Or you apply for a job somewhere, you do some of the assessments. So that's what happens. So we have our blue collar work because they are more operational in their space. We use what we call psychomotor assessment, obviously, then so that we can gauge or measure their risk element when they, on the different sites that they work with. And then also for the management, we do the cognitive ability here. You're speaking about the CPP. We also use that. You do personality tests, different types of personality tools that we use. Emotional intelligence, we do that, which is very much important. And we also do team interventions as well. And then also we're doing those competency-based assessments. So when we're done doing that, because at some point, you're coming into a workspace, you're really not sure what you want to do. but then we start building new. Then we have what we call it dual career pathing now, after all of those things. So a dual career pathing now is when you now start to decide which route you want to take. Do you want to be a manager where you're managing people as you grow up the ladder, or you want to grow up the ladder with the same grading level, but you want to be a specialist? So obviously, as a specialist, in terms of you specialize. So that's what we do as well in terms of those frameworks. This is what we build when you come in. So when we're done, then now remember we have to manage the talent. So how do we manage the talent within our space? So this is what we use, right? We will have talent conversations. We need to know what is it that you like, what you want to do, what do you aspire to do whilst you're within the business. Then when we're done, then we do also the succession planning, right? What is succession planning? It speaks to your growth. We have, since I said we do those critical workforce planning and segmentation, there are jobs that will identify as critical, core, flexible, all of those things, and we define them differently. So the ones that are critical, then we will be doing then that succession planning, where after the talent conversations that we have with individuals, then we build that succession planning. We start what we call intentionally grooming a person to take over. So then we'll do all those programs, your job rotation. So what is job rotation? So you find that maybe you are in the HR people management space, but maybe you are doing, talent coordination, for example. But a job rotation now, we want you to gain skill within the entire value chain of HR. So you move from once you're still within your coordination space, then we move you to the next space so that you can learn the skill. Remember, you're looking on how the world of work is evolving, right? So you cannot just depend on having one skill, but you need to be at least multi-skilled so that even if they say we're letting go, sometimes some organizations, when they restructure, they like to combine their, what is it?
You get everything.
In one organization, they can call you an assessment consultant, and the other one you just a talent person, the other one you just a talent acquisition specialist. But in other organizations, you find that person doing all of those things, right? Talent acquisition, blah, 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 blah. So if then we are able to impart those skills to you, then you don't have to worry about anything, because you can actually go anywhere and do what you've learned. I like other people where they will struggle because, AI guys. Okay, and then that's where then we're talking about those talent mobility, guys. So then how then do we also do those employee development where we have those leadership development depending. So we have beautiful programs, guys. There's one that we're busy with, they call it She Leads, it's just for women, right?
Yes.
So just targeted for women to empower them to get into those executive positions, which is a great program. But anyway, so we also have our retention strategy. As I said, I work for the National Ports Authority. So there, our most critical skills are the guys in engineering, because they build the ports, right, and everything else. And obviously the market there is very much competitive. So we always have to come up with ways to retain those people. So is it only because of the money? No, we also have to upskill them and all of those things. There are professional registrations, we have to take care of that as well. So there's various ways that we try and build those policies and guidelines for us to be able to retain them. However, it does not mean that any other ones that are there within the business, they are not our talent, but obviously you have to be able to segment it to a way that we are able to keep the business afloat, right? Then we also then do those psychometric assessments. We do them for different reasons, either for development, for those career planning, advancement, or also for our recruitment processes. We also have, again, the coaching. So we coach for different reasons as well, depending on your need. We also use our internal coaches, and for our executives, then we use external coaches just to keep that relationship as well. So I think I will stop here so that we don't over.
Can you give Becky another round of applause? We are close to the end of our program, not just yet. There's one more speaker. You are gonna enjoy them, but I wanna touch at a point that Mr. Becky touched on, which is work rotation. How, now I will take it firstly as a human skill to do one thing and do one thing and do the other at the same time. We do that in our everyday life, right? Whether you want to drink water right now, but you're already thinking about going to do your laundry and then thinking about, have you made your bed? To realize that in a sense, that is life rotation. There is a skill, note it. You can then work it with it in the workplace, where then you're now rotationally working in the workplace. You can handle things in PR, you can handle things in industrial psychology, you can handle things wherever, as long as you're learning and rotating. Please note it. Sharp? Great. I want to say this. We have, the department has a Instagram page, our Facebook page, and our website, right? We are going to revamp that. That's why I'm here. While we are working on it, please kindly follow us, and we'll definitely follow back up. Please do that. We're going to have our last speaker. Please, can you come forward? She's a very beautiful lady. Okay, I will see the same name again. She is a seasoned industrial organizational psychologist with nearly a decade of dedicated experience in psychology profession and over 15 years in the workplace. She is currently serving as a senior manager and the talent management of an organizational and development at the continental South Africa. Richenda brings a wealth of knowledge in fostering organizational culture and talent development across diverse settings. One last thing about her, she is a passionate advocate for psychological safety, and she was one of the first fearless organization certified psychologists and safety practitioners in South Africa, in Africa, not just South Africa, in Africa. Pioneering this essential fields in her spaces. She is going to tell you more. I'm just cutting it short. There's more here. She's going to tell you more about it. Give her a round of applause, please.
And where the light's not in my eyes, and I'm so glad I'm not wearing my glasses today. Because while the speakers that have spoken already have been very nervous, and now I can't see anyone because I don't have my glasses on. I'm going to start off probably very weird. Robin, it's her birthday today. Happy birthday to you. Everybody now and it actually, I wanted to say that it's actually quite wonderful for her to be here to share her birthday with you. You know, being here, she could have said no instead. And then this is probably going to be the shortest presentation. If you have questions. I want to just thank you all for getting me out of my lounge clothes. Maternity leave, that's all I've been doing, sitting in pajamas.
Congratulations.
I come on and I've got a dress on. I haven't worn a dress in a long time. Even on a Sunday, I don't wear dresses because guys, just close your ears and whatever and your eyes, because if you wear dresses, you can't do this. So thank you all for your time. And are there any questions? Yeah, I'm going to start off now with just a thing that I thought I'd start off with for the presentation, and that is, I'm going to allow you to ask me questions on roles that I've been in. So start off and ask me, have you ever been a that, or have you ever done this? And all I can answer is yes or no. The reason why that bio was so brief and coded is because I don't want to give too much away. Okay. Okay. So you can ask the question, have you been this, have you done this, and then I'll answer yes or no. And this is the first sign of psychological safety. People don't ask questions, you know that it's not psychologically safe in this space. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. My question is, have you ever worked in the hospitality industry?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
No. Yes, sir.
Have you ever worked as a content creator?
No. No.
Have you ever worked with international clients?
Yes.
Have you been away?
Yes. There was a hand, there was some. Are you gonna ask? Yes. Is it obvious?
No, I'm saying it's one yes.
Oh, yes. No, I said no to DJ. I would love to have been a DJ. My own videos of pretending what. Any other questions? Oh, I've got a boring life. Hospitality waitress, international client, academia. How boring. Yes.
Did you go to wellness interventions?
Yes. Last one question. Your face is burning with the questions. Yours. Yes. Yours.
Have you ever been lost in your career path?
Have I ever been lost? Of course. Have I ever been lost in my career? Well, of course, it's natural. Yes. Is that where you are? We'll speak about that in a bit. Okay. So let me take you out of your misery. At least there's a little bit of safety in. Okay, so this is a snapshot of what I've done so far. I worked in the UK. Let me start off and say that my first job that I ever had was in 2005. I age well. 2005 was the first actual thing that I got a salary for, money for. And that was in the UK. I worked as a gap teacher, a student teacher at Exeter Cathedral School. And there I taught swimming and hockey and tennis. And then I also participated in young ones and their learning at that point. Interestingly enough, you asked me, so it's all glitz and glamour. I went overseas, lekker, no. That was also the first time I went and I was a waitress. So I worked at Al Farid restaurant, Moroccan restaurant. And I'll tell you why I'm giving you all of this history at the end. I worked as a waitress, love Moroccan food. That's the first place where I learned how to smoke a habli. It was the place where you actually serve habli as part of the cuisine. And something that I only told my parents or my mom about recently. During the day, I was this student teacher. Weekends and other nights, I was a waitress. And every other night, I was a cleaner. So I cleaned the exact same classrooms that I used to teach in or sit and assist in as an extra form of income. I will never forget Mr. Pike, who allowed me to do that. But I had to hide because the kids, I was in a boarding school as well, a part of the boarding school. The kids couldn't see me in my janitor clothes and be their teacher. So late at night, I'd do the cleaning there. Then I came back to South Africa and then I studied, and I will never forget Prof. Van Kerk, in my first year of psychology. We're not talking about age now. I will never forget Prof. Van Kerk in my first year in psychology at Rhodes University. I'll tell you the reason why I went to the UK and took the gap year is because I have my chronic jerks. So it's a form of epilepsy, and I'll get some fit and then so forth. But I had an episode in Prof. Van Kerk's classroom in Psychology 1 in a Chem Major lecture venue at Rhodes University, and he was the person that came and helped me. And I will never forget that day. He at least didn't allow me to be embarrassed in front of the class, because the seizures do look a little scary. So I will never forget him. And our paths have crossed many times after that. He didn't know then that he would be the M word, mentor, not mother. All right, so studied at Rhodes, and then I was sponsored by the Yellow Pages, Trudon, publishers of the Yellow Pages, to do my undergrad degree. So as part of the bursary program, I needed to go work back the time. So I went to Joburg after my honors year and HR training. And in the first 6 months of being there, the HR specialist upped and left. She couldn't take it anymore. And I had to take over her role as an HR specialist, responsible for the assessment interviews and for the whole of Trudon, which had branches in Fiji, Cape Town, Durban, Joburg, Namibia. So I was responsible for the recruitment processes there. Fast forward, I then moved on, and my honors, please just listen to my story that I'm telling, because I love telling stories. My honors supervisor phoned me to say, Rashenda, there's a position at Rhodes University. It's called the Rhodes University Christie Accelerated Development Program. Please apply. And I applied for the position, for the job, and I got the job. So it was an accelerated program, and that program allows you to have half the workload and still study. So I did my master's in psychology, or master's by thesis, it was called, in psychology. Did that. So my development was accelerated as part of transforming the academia space at Rhodes University at that point. So I then completed my master's, and Wom helped me again. Prof. Van Kerk helped me again during my master's, because the drama of getting very negative feedback from an external examiner about my research, and I almost died because I'm not going to finish. So Prof. Van Kerk said, Rashenda, let's have a look. And he supported very good through the tears and finished that. Then Prof. Van Kerk phoned me one day and said, listen, there's a position at NMU. Please apply. Obviously, went through the whole process and did that part. As part of while I was here at NMU as a lecturer, I also completed my master's in MCOM, so to become a registered industrial psychologist. So I did that at that time. I completed my internship while PsyOpsa. Are you guys aware of when PsyOpsa was here, did an event, had a networking session, this conversation with, the name is Adele Bester. Robin will know her. Adele Bester was here at one of the PsyOpsa events, and she said, we've got a employee engagement consulting role opening soon. Please apply for it. this was after networking at that point. I applied for the position and I then went and I told, Rolf was the HOD at that point, and I said, I'm applying, nothing's gonna happen of it, but you know, put your feelers out there. Then I went to Volkswagen, worked with Robin. And I was the first CEPA consultant, employee engagement consultant at Volkswagen South Africa. And my responsibilities here, and this is where the IOP stuff now comes in. Where the first time that I actually really applied my knowledge from IOP, you know, that messy stuff that's happening there. So I applied my knowledge there, responsible mainly for employee engagement, and did a lot of work with teams. So after we've done our employee engagement survey, which happens every year, what do we then do with that information is what my role was about. How do we make use of that information in the team? So every team will get a score of the employee engagement, and let's say your team got a score of 50%, 50 satisfaction index, then my role would be to come into that team and assist them to iron out what are those issues that may have arisen for them to score so low in that employee engagement survey. And then we develop action plans. I was also then responsible for the assisted in the assessment. So Volkswagen, and I'm sure Robin told you about the assessment program. No, I'm not going to go into detail around that because I'm no longer at Volkswagen, it's your responsibility. So I did the assessment. So for Volkswagen, their assessment centers are mainly used for leadership development. So if you want to become a supervisor and in Volkswagen, you need to go through an assessment process. And that assessment process, once you've completed and it's successful in it, you are then eligible to become a supervisor. But that certification of your assessment allows you to be a supervisor anywhere in the Volkswagen world. So if you've got that certification, you can be a supervisor in Brazil or Germany or China, wherever that takes you. Fast forward from there, I then applied for a position at Continental South Africa, Continental Tire South Africa, for the, and Becky, I hope it's not the same process where the restructuring and the names become convoluted. But I am the manager of talent management and organizational development, which is TMOD, a long name unnecessary. I could have just said, you know, talent, whatever it is. So I'm the talent management and organizational development manager, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that role. So that is just, oh yes, I think it was Prof. Werner and May that allowed me to facilitate for FIFA, guys, facilitate for a FIFA HR module. So FIFA, these people, FIFA people were here and in Port Elizabeth, and then I facilitated their training on HR. Traveled quite a bit and did a lot of assessments for the business school for their entrance psychometric assessments. Okay. Whew. What is this? It wasn't really a joke, it was an actual.
Super's theory.
Thank you. It's Super's theory. Apparently, according to Super, I should be somewhere here by establishment, right? You should be. Are you not near there, that point either? You there?
No. Exploration.
Where are you by exploration? Okay. Oh, wow. Exploration. So I'm currently in this phase, establishment phase. And you're super. All right, so establishment phase, I've still got a few more years left, then I go into the maintenance phase, but super and all of the theories that we are exposed to cannot be taken as the holy grail, right? We move around in various phases, and I think Sanita also mentioned that the road goes forward and then you go back and then you don't know which way, that little bit of confusion of where your career is. But I'll tell you a little bit more about Continental and what I do and what my team is responsible for. So at Continental Tiles, I'm no longer very much involved in the actual activities that are related to what I studied, but hopefully what I've learned throughout my career has gotten me to this point where I'm able to assist. So at Continental Tires, my team is responsible for talent management, and that moves from graduates up until executive level. So the talent management for, so we are responsible, we have a student pool that includes graduates and trainees, or GITs. Unfortunately, in 2025, we will not have a graduate and training program for various reasons. And we're revamping the GIT program. We're also responsible for apprentices. We send most of our, not most of them, we send all our apprentices and trainees to Volkswagen in Italy to go and learn their actual skills. So it will be at Biplan, where Robert, you no longer at Biplan. So apprentices, we are responsible for that as well. What we're also responsible for is, I think Becky also spoke about leadership development. So we're also responsible for leadership development, and again, from the young professionals up until executive level. So with the young professionals, we also have the various programs. And like VW, most of our programs come from Germany, right? So our head office is in, or headquarters is in Germany, Wolfsburg. So they tell us that these are our various programs, and then we implement and contextualize it in the South African context. So the leadership programs, we start off from identifying young, high potential individuals and then start grooming them for leadership positions. It's not a very fancy name, it's called the LDP, Leadership Development Program. But it's LDP 1 up until LDP 3. LDP 3 involves also for executives. We're also then responsible for, so it was the leadership development. We also do the engagement. So we just finished off, like at VW, once a year you have your employee engagement survey. We have about 1,000 plus employees at Continental Tire South Africa, and based here in PE. About 1,000 employees that go through the employee engagement survey, and we start with our retention strategies. What do we do to enable those individuals? And then what rocks my boat a lot and gives me pleasure is my hard focus on culture. I have a great passion for culture and team leading. So I'm responsible for, personally responsible for the building capacity. So how do we build the capacity of our employees? And we've got this project that we're currently busy with, which is our culture project. And in that culture project, we started with a very interesting project, and that is to do assessment centers for all critical roles. Wow, how insane is that? People aren't saying that they want to be assessed. People don't even know what assessment centers are being told, we want to assess you to see what your development areas, strengths and weaknesses are, so that we can build the capacity of our company. I'm on maternity leave and it's still going on. Hopefully when I get back, it's done. It's a lot of work because we're not only assessing people in critical roles, we also are wanting people to put their hands up to say that I'm actually quite interested to be an engineer or shop floor employee saying, this was the most interesting assessment that I did before I left for maternity leave. And a guy that is in final finish. Final finish is the area within our production where it's what the name means, where they check the tire to see if there are any blemishes and whatever. If there are any blemishes, to what degree is it a rework? Can the tire be reworked or must it be scrapped? There's a guys on the shop floor, on the line, that is doing this manual work that put his hand up to do an assessment center for an IT position. And we're like, what the hell, why do you want to do this? The guy comes and blows my mind during the assessment center. And what is even more mind-blowing is that this guy is in his third year studying mathematics. And he's paying for himself. So we've got a study grant process where we say, come apply. And my department's also responsible for the study grant. And this year I approved 2.2 million rand worth of bursaries for our employees. This guy did not come forward to get a bursary. He's paying for his own studies. And that for me was like, this is why I do this assessments. I don't like doing assessments, and this is, Robin knows this. I don't like doing assessments for screening, for recruitment purposes. That's why I've moved away from the industrial part of industrial psychology to the organizational part of industrial and organizational psychology. Because, so I don't like the recruitment side, I like the organizational side, the development side. So the assessment centers or the development centers that we're currently doing now is for that purpose. Identifying talent that we would have never known existed in our organization. I said I love to talk a lot. But I think I've provided this picture of my career and how messy it actually is. That Supers theory will tell you, now in this phase, and any other theory will give you this perfect picture of what your growth should look like. But mine wasn't that. I knew that I wanted to become a psychologist when I started, when I was still young. My dad was in business and he wanted me to do something in business. I go to university. Actually, I didn't even apply for university. My brother applied for me because I was having seizures on the side. That was a joke. Sorry. Anyway, so my brother was applied for me while I was not well and I was in the UK at that point. So, and he applied for me for university. But wasn't this beautiful picture? Psychology, business, get to university. I never even heard about the industrial psychology, organizational psychology. So the first year, luckily at Rhodes, everyone does psychology. And then you're exposed to the various elements, and only in second year do you actually start realizing what you want to do. So it's a messy road. And I've got a few lessons here, and I want to thank you for this opportunity to me to come and speak about my career, because speaking about it is my career narrative, right? Allowing me to reflect on how the roles and various roles that I have been involved in has provided me with the skills that are necessary to do my job. Being a cleaner in the UK allows me to identify that everyone's role matters within the organization. Being whatever it is, has allowed me to be who I am in this role. So So the learnings that I wanted to mention here is that I was telling someone who, in my coaching, I was talking about what is your project? What is your career project that you're busy with? That's what I asked my coachee. And she says, I don't know. And while I was asking that question during the coaching, I said to myself, my career project is the Yes Project. Had I not said yes to Bernadette that asked me to apply for a job at Rhodes, I would not have gotten that job at Rhodes. Had I not said yes to Rolf to apply for a job at NMU, I would not have received that or not had gotten that job. If I had not said yes to Adele, I would not have worked at VW. So all of these are my yes projects. That's what my career narrative is about. What I want to say to you is that you need to find your niche. You need to find your niche. I know that I hate telling people no. That's why I have the Yes Project. I hate telling people no. That's why I'll never go into recruitment. Because I remember my first IOPSA conference that I went to, and they said that for every person you say no to in a recruitment process, you are affecting 5 people. So you're saying no, but 4 other people are being affected by that no. So that's where I was, no, not for me. So find your niche. You won't know what it is now, or you may not know what it is now. But I will tell you, even if we have AI, where there is work, there is work. That's my message to you. Where there is work, there is work. If people are working, we will always have work. Then the third lesson that I had looking back on my career is your reputation will speak for itself. And again, if you listen to my story that I told you, it's that your name, and this is Azande's quote. Azande is my best friend, guys. Ms. Glatla, Azande loves to use this, where she says your name will be spoken in rooms that you haven't even entered. Yes. Okay, so I didn't know who was talking about me, but I got the call. So be careful of your brand. You are a brand. You need to understand yourself as that. If you are, almost swore. If you're a bit crappy with time, please work on it, because that will become your brand. She's always late. Not you, Azande. Why are you saying that person? It wasn't about you. Guilty. And then my last thing in terms of psychological safety and where my passion lies is don't be shy or afraid to use your knowledge. Try and fail. Surround yourself with people where you are in an environment where you are able to ask those silly questions, where you are able to ask for help, where you are able to have open conversations, and that you are able to take risks. And those are the 4 dimensions of psychological safety according to Prof. Eddington. Thank you very much, everybody.
We could have prolonged that clap. Again, you have done a lot. Yeah, lady with the green dress. She has done a lot. I was actually looking at the picture she had at first, the first one that she had. That's a whole vlog. Okay, it's a whole vlog. So she's done a lot, and what I'm picking from it and getting from it is do anything and everything until you find what you want to continue doing. And you might be in a space where you feel like you're not growing, but the true essence of it is what is you went into that space for a purpose. So as long as you've served the purpose and gaining the skill that you went there for, it's always okay then to grow out and move to something else. Explore your options. Also, we are young. Very young. She mentioned something about the explorative phase that she's in, and she mentioned that she's just a few years to get into the next one. But no, we are young. And in your youngness, it's allowing you to explore, okay? It's allowing you to explore and do a whole lot of things that you want to do. Now you probably wonder, why am I so energetic? And if I'm always this energetic in my daily life, I will point out two people who've interacted with me more consecutively out of even this room and in this institution. Can you give me that opportunity? Just to Stembiso Dlamini and Precious, Pabalo. Her best friend is Precious. Stembiso Dlamini and Pabalo. I met them in different settings, but we then later realized that we're actually in the same course or doing the same modules, and we can actually be friends, hey? We were friends until they realized that this one just likes to do a lot of things and is never available for our friendship. And I am. So in that thing, I do like to do a lot of things, but the perspective they've had of me has actually made me as well as a friend. They know that I love them as my friends, and I'll always be there for them as a friend. Perspective is then different. Why is he doing what he's doing? I'm doing it to grow as a person. You will meet people who are going to be your friends, who are going to try to hold you back. Please sit them down and tell them, listen, I'm doing this for my life. I am fighting for my life and I'm trying to get through my life. I am trying to get through goals and get through objectives and timeframes I've set in my life. Do that, be selfish. It's your future. Yeah. You have studied, you've invested time. Please give the session a whole round of applause again. One last thing that I have to say before we open the floor to any questions that we might have in the networking session is, instead of saying, I have to do this, maybe say, I get to do this. Perspective is different. Yeah. Waking up today morning, I woke up with a thing of, damn, I am going to facilitate an honors event in a department that I studied in. I didn't think I have to, because then it would have seemed forced, and probably I would have had a different narrative around it. But I was like, no, I get to do this. I get to come into a space of people I know they have experience. Chances are I might meet them later in my life in my pursuit of career as I have studied. But right now, today, I get to stand between them, with them in the same room as a facilitator. They might reason with something new with me, but I get to do it. You got to come here and listen to them speak. You've probably gained something, please. You have, right? Thank you. So I get to do that. So as well as you, perspective is very important. The perspective you have of the different spaces that you're in is very, very important. Now, I'm going to open the floor to questions. If you have any questions, please kindly raise up your hand. We're going to continue doing this as seamless as we can so we get through the program again. Do you have any questions before our networking session and our lunch session outside? Mm-hmm. My lovely, I'm not going to answer the question. Just say it, but I would love for you then, probably in one of the speakers, or if you have a lecturer that you know that you would love to answer, you would love for them to answer the question. Can you just please raise up your name and your hand, and then point them out? Probably, would you be willing to answer a few questions? Thank you so much. Can we start with you? Pretenda.
Here's my student though. Okay, so the question is there a difference between, what is the difference between industrial psychology and organizational psychology? Okay, so according to the textbooks, textbooks tell us that industrial psychology focuses on the I part of an individual. So it focuses on the individual assessment, recruitment, those types of enterprise actually looks at a broader term. So it's a much broader scope of influence. That's my layman's interpretation of it. I, like an individual, so for 10 months.
What's your question? Thank you. We are going to continue our networking session, but because of time and commitments that we have in our days, I'm sure you'll have pressing things to do, but we are going to have our networking session. If you do have more questions, please keep them for our networking session. Whoever is available, please direct it to them. We're going to have Umata right now to come forward and do the vote of thanks for us. Right. Listen now, I met her. She's never taught me. I met her this year, I think around about September.
Yes.
Now in September, for the first time ever. Firstly, fascinated by the fact that she's Zulu show. Secondly, I don't know how she knows me from social media. Was it after then you realized?
Yeah, it was, we met at on the passage at South Campus, and then he's talking, guys, he loves talking. So I'm like, oh my goodness, same language, who are you? And he's like, I'm Londi. And then I see him again, and then I see him on TikTok, I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay, now I understand the nerves too. Now I hear you. But anyway, mine is just gonna be short. A huge thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Today has truly been a day of wisdom, inspiration, and valuable connections, might I add. I'd like to extend my heartfelt thanks to our esteemed guests, speakers who have taken generously their time off and have joined us today. It's a testament, I'd like to say, Robin, Becky, Zenita, Shenda, of your commitment and passion for the field of industrial psychology and human resources. And I hope we recognize what an incredible opportunity it has been to learn from each and every single one of you. I'd like to start off with you, Zenita. Zenita used to be my classmate, guys, by the way, during masters. So just what a joy it has been to see you again here, Zenita. And I think how wonderful it is to just witness a classmate turning into a mentor for our students. You've reminded us today that sometimes the peers we sit beside us become colleagues who inspire us tomorrow. Thank you for bringing that full circle, Zenita. Much appreciated. Two, yes. To Rishenda Kuberg, what can I say? Once my lecture, she used to be my lecture, guys, take notes. Hectic, your age, CC, but now one of my bestest of friends. Your journey from mentor to confidant is proof that our career paths aren't just shaped by work, but our relationships. Thank you for sharing your expertise with the same warmth and sincerity that has always been your hallmark. We see you and we appreciate you. Thank you, Shenda. Robin, seeing you again. Fancy seeing you here again. Thank you, Robin. It has been an honor to have you with us here today. Thank you for allowing us to expand our network and also bringing your own unique perspective into the conversation. I'm excited to see where this connection will lead. May we continue to build a strong and supportive professional network. Guys, take note, ask questions, be inquisitive, engage. And last but not least, thank you, Mr. Begi. Thank you for bringing a wealth of experience and insight here today. Your words today will no doubt leave an influence on our students as they weigh their career options. The industry is privileged to have each and every single one of you guys here, and I really, really am grateful. One more thing to add as we wrap up. I'd like to leave our students with a thought by Albert Schweitzer.
He says, success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you're doing, you will be successful. Take note. I hope this message resonates as you continue in your studies and explore where your careers might lead. In a way, today's session has been like planting a seed in a garden. Each speaker has given you a seed, a piece of knowledge, a new perspective or professional connection. It's now up to you, our students, to tend this garden, to water it with curiosity, nurture it with hard work, and watch as it grows into something unique and rewarding. Thank you for today to our remarkable speakers for helping us plant this garden here today. And to our students, guys, good luck with your exams ahead. May you find both success and happiness in all your future endeavors. Thank you, everyone.
Can I please have my speakers? We have a little item that we'd like to give you guys. Don't be shy, don't be shy, don't be shy. Come through. Thank you so much.
My mother doesn't like flowers. The only thing that likes flowers is my sister. Flowers. Robin, this is yours. Give our speakers a good round of applause, please. After, if you are available, please, we would love a group photo to remember the faces that are here today. Thank you so much. Wow.